Planting update, 9th of June 2024. I'm about to give up on these rows. The beets that we put in here took off. They got about that big, and then they never did anything else. The corn that was our first planting is over here, and it's roughly 8 inches tall. The biggest one, maybe about 8 inches tall. The second planting never germinated, and then we went through and we stripped out all the weed growth that had accumulated and all of the beets and replanted. You can see some of the dimples there. We replanted corn down all 3 of these rows in an attempt to get something going. So this wasn't just a complete learning experience this year. But I think that the clay soil is really what's holding us up here, and I can prove that, sort of, and we'll get back to that in a minute. Let's go over the rest of the garden. Mustard greens and arugula are pretty much dead. They're being kept alive for shade at this point, and for the flowers to attract bees and such. That guy was supposed to be a pepper plant, but it got stunted because I think it had too much shade when it was trying to come up, and that's where we're at with that. Tomatoes, this is Damsel, I think. She's doing okay. I believe that one's a Cherokee Purple. The Cherokee Purples, this is our first year with them, and they seem to be doing pretty well. I feel like they came in a little bit earlier than the Damsels did. These have already been pruned back. I know that we probably could prune them back again. This one actually needs to be tied up, so I'll get to that here in a minute. But anyway, first year with the Cherokee Purples, and you know, they're definitely tomatoing. But I feel like they came in a little bit earlier than the Damsels or the Arkansas Travelers. So anyway, yeah, this one, which one? Oh, that's informative. Well, this is a tomato. Since this is more of a round, I'm assuming that that is a Traveler compared to sort of the funky growth that we get out of the Cherokee Purples. I know this one's a purple. These, I don't think I had ever talked about for a while. It took me a really long time to figure out what they were, to remember what we planted, because we had planted and then we came back and we put some other stuff in here. Anyway, these are, they're not marigold, or maybe they are marigolds. They never ended up flowering, but if you smell the leaves, it smells like the flowers. And I was noticing, I have seen one tomato hornworm so far this year. And it was not in this planter. So I think that the companion planting for pest resistance is going well. Anyway, so yeah, so there's another one over intertwined with this tomato. Peas. These have already been harvested and are pretty much dead at this point, and this is just providing a little bit of shade from those guys. Oh, look. See? That's why we have the flowers next to everything. Thanks, buddy. Okay, Okay, so we got one pepper plant over here that I pinched when it started growing again. You can see where it was cut, and it looks like we're starting to get some activity in there. So cool, I might actually get some peppers. This guy, I'm not sure what it is, but I'm trying to keep it alive. It's some sort of a tomato. And then again, the other pea that we had an issue with these pea plants, and it's 100% my fault. All of this is all my fault. This was a new bin, and when I filled the bin, we were short on soil. And I figured that I would dig into my compost, which I knew was not finished, and I would just bring over the best of what was here. Well, when I did that, I brought over a lot of pill bugs, potato bugs. And these guys have pretty much destroyed these peas. I did get a harvest out of them. It was not great, but I'm happy for what I got. We've never had peas before. So anyway, that's been a learning experience this year. I would not move unfinished compost again. Over here, our carrot bin. That's probably the biggest carrot we have, and that one actually kind of looks like a carrot. It's probably getting close. This guy popped out, but this is absolutely the best that we've ever done with carrots, and this is, I mean, we might get a salad out of it. So it is what it is. The potatoes are doing well, I think. I noticed this morning when I was watering them, we are getting these guys, which I'm not really sure what the deal is with that, because I've never done potatoes before. So I haven't had a chance yet to look into why we're getting fruit outside of the dirt. But most of the plants have them. These little guys right there. Not sure what that's about, but I'm going to take it as a good sign and hope that it means that there's all kinds of stuff going on in the soil. Now, this is the reason that I can pretty well say that I believe it is the clay soil that is holding us up with the potatoes. This single row over here was something that my kid wanted to have his own little garden area, and he wanted to grow wheat. So I cut him a row, and we put some wheat in it, and directly sowing the wheat here, 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 there. We got 4 and then 1 over there, so 5. And these have been going for quite some time. They do get watered every day, the same as everything else. But if you look at the wheat that we put here in the mound versus the progress of the wheat that's directly in the soil, I am pretty sure that what we're running up against is related to the heavy clay. The only thing it seems to grow is clover and grass and crabgrass. So anyhow, we have a tentative plan for that, and we'll talk about that at a future time. Over here on the side of the mound, we have a rogue tomato. We didn't plant that. At least we don't remember planting a tomato out here. This area, by the way, is all intentional. This was wildflower seed that we scattered. So this isn't because I'm lazy, this is intentional. This wheat needs to get cut, and then these ones, which were a later planting, are getting close. And then we have another mystery tomato over here with some more mystery stuff, but this is all doing really well. This again was an experiment this year with hugelkultur style mound. This has some logs in the bottom of it, and then we built up over the top with, again, unfinished compost, and then some bagged soil. But so that's doing really well. I'm happy with what we've gotten out of there. The trees, apple trees, of course, are dead, but the pear tree, with all the rust on it that I keep pulling off every time I come out here, these are doing fairly well. This is the best that we've gotten out of this tree. It's probably better for my family because I absolutely hate pears, but we're getting some good yield out of this, considering it's sat here for the last couple years and not really been taken care of, and now we've got a bunch of stuff on it. So I'm happy with that. This is the apple that we're trying to regrow from that little sprout. Hope that takes off. The plums. The plums have already plumbed and been harvested. We got 4. So at this point, we will just take care of the tree through the summer and keep watering it, and see where we end up. And then the peach tree, it's doing okay again for a tree that was neglected for a couple years. We do have some fruit on here, and the peach leaf curl fungal issue that we've had, plucking the leaves and getting those off seems to have made a pretty good impact. Anyway, pretty good impact on getting rid of the leaf curl. There's still some here, so we're still, we still need to treat it this fall, but we're getting there. And we are getting really close to sending food over here to freezer camp. I have learned that while all of our birds do forage on the grass, these guys forage fairly well. We are definitely still feeding them. They kind of stalled out as far as growth when we tried to put them on forage only. And I think I probably missed their big growth spurt. I probably wasn't feeding them when I should have been feeding them. But as you can tell, they're pretty well fully grown. I had kind of a happy accident, and I accidentally ordered the wrong feed for my egg birds. These guys have been eating that. We're trying to get some weight on them and get ready to put them in the freezer here in the next couple weeks. So anyway, I guess the point was, even though, they are foraging and you can see them eating, what I've realized is that in places where there's not as much clover in the lawn, they need more food, and they're hungrier when I bring their food out in the morning. So places where it's heavy clover, they don't necessarily seem as hungry. They don't rush the food, so they are eating the clover. We had one patch in the lawn that was like 3x3, where one of my planting bins had been set, and then we moved it and I just replanted it with clover, and we rolled them over the top of that, and they decimated it in one day. They ate it down to the soil. which is fine. That's why it was there. But the difference between that and what we see from them when they're just eating, you know, they definitely don't eat the grass as much as they eat the clover. So we've had to supplement with a lot of feed in order to get them to the weight that they're at, and they're still really light birds. So again, more of a learning experience with this, I suppose.